Atlanta United. They are parting ways with Carlos Bocanegra, the ex-U.S. international, was their vice president and technical director. He's been with the club since 2015. This is the latest in a very bad season for Atlanta. They're ninth right now in the Eastern Conference, so, right at the playoff line, but they've won only 8 of 27 games, and of course, earlier this year they had to fire the manager, Gonzalo Pineda. Herc, Bocanegra is the latest victim of Atlanta's terrible 2024 campaign. What do you think of it?
Writing was on the wall, right? I'm sure Carlos knew. And Carlos is an ex-teammate of mine and one of the top individuals you can meet in this game, a really caring individual. But it's been quite some time where his head was on the chopping block. And quite some time where he was getting a lot of heat from the fan base. And Garth Lagaway coming to Atlanta United, this position, it was bound to happen. Garth was going to bring his people in. And there's a quote that Doug Robertson, who's a beat reporter in Atlanta, got from Garth. And Garth says, I think that the results have not been up to our standards for the last 5 years. Certainly, let's just talk about me. Those results are not up to my expectations. Every decision ultimately is mine with respect to Atlanta United, and it has been. So you're talking about where you want to go there. He obviously didn't see it being a fruitful relationship with Carlos Bocanegra moving forward. These things happen in football. Some of Carlos Bocanegra's decisions were very good. Identifying players, very good. A lot of good players came in. Certainly they spent a lot of money, but they recouped that money and even more when they sold them. But when it came to choosing head coaches, that was his Achilles heel. That was ultimately the downfall. And Garth Lagaway, a new guy comes in, he's going to do it his way, and that means his people. So this was bound to happen.
So you had your quote. Let me read you one that I saw from Tom Bogert from Garth Lagaway. For the first time, we have the ability to truly go forward. That sounds like he's happy to get rid of Carlos Bocanegra, which may be well and fine because they got a huge offseason coming up, right? You got to hire not just a coach, but now a GM. But this puts all the pressure now, Herc, and we know if there's an MLS market where there's some pressure, it's Atlanta, on Garth Lagaway, but not just Lagaway, also Arthur Blank, right? Also the Blank family, the people who have written the checks, who built this thing up from scratch, who have a beautiful stadium, which of course they split with the NFL team, but have an amazing facility, Herc. You and I have been to that facility down there in Atlanta. It is about as good as it gets in Major League Soccer, and the money they're spending. Right? The 4 most expensive signings incoming in MLS history are all Atlanta's. 5 of the top 10. They're spending money. There's no more excuses. This awkward relationship of Lagaway coming in and Bocanegra still already there. That's over. Now the pressure is all on Lagaway. It's all on Arthur Blank. They got to get this figured out, Herc. And if they don't, you know that the fans in Atlanta are going to be calling for somebody else's head because it's one of the few markets in MLS where that happens.
There are a few individuals when it comes to the front office that I trust, I believe in. Garth Lagaway is one of them. He really is one of them. And evidence of that, of how good he is the downfall of the Seattle Sounders, what they are right now without him. You give him those resources. I believe they have 2 DPs and a bunch of money they can spend, no head coach, and endless possibilities in the future. You mentioned the ownership in Atlanta. If there is one ownership that I cannot place blame in anything, it is that ownership. They have given this front office so much money. They have given these fans things that other fan bases could only dream of. The greatest show on turf. It really was. Atlanta set the bar. They put themselves in that super club category. Ownership's not a problem here. It's the direction. They lost it. Now they're trying to get it back. And these endless possibilities, it starts now. It really does. This stopped being an exciting team. And fans, they don't care about teams that aren't exciting. They don't care about teams that are mediocre. Atlanta United has become a mediocre team.
And
until that changes, the fans, they won't care who's in charge. They want that to change.
They definitely won't care, Herc, about a team that doesn't win. It doesn't win. You're going to lose in a big market like Atlanta.